So, our guest speaker will continue our conference, Monsieur Jacques Salzer from Paris-Dauphine University, and he will introduce himself a little bit wider and we'll talk about a very interesting topic about conflicts.
It's more about practice of conflict and mediation. For 30 years, I have been observing conflicts and mediation. I have studied at the origin economics and political sciences, but very quickly I began to talk human relations. Why do people understand each other or do not understand each other? We had some examples with trust. And you have been kind enough to put my presentation in your dossier, so I suggest for the people who want to remember it to take it now, because I wrote the numbers. The order is not very clear all the time, so I just give you the order. If you have it, this is 1, this is 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3. In the other page, it's 4. You see the numbers over there. You see the numbers? So 4, 5, 6, 7. So you follow more easily. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 8, 9, 10, 11. And it's the same here. 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 minutes, 15 presentations. In an hour and a half, we'll finish and we'll go to lunch. So I imagined the image of the cocktail, the conflict cocktail. Another way to express it is a simple complexity. In the conflict, in the cocktail, you put gin and vodka and fruit juice, and you mix, and then you look at the cocktail, but you cannot see where is the fruit juice, where is the vodka. It's all mixed. This is the image. In my experience, often there is a complexity because things are mixed, and it's difficult to see what made for each party the conflict, and mediator needs that. Another image is the roots. The roots appear at the origin, but other roots add themselves. There is amplification of the conflict with different things that adds. And so you don't know when mediator receives the conflict which ones are important. And sometimes people are not themselves aware of the roots. The roots may be different for part A and for part B. For example, I imagine being in Latvia, and I have been from Monday, a conflict that may arise in Latvia. I imagine, to illustrate what I'll show you, that investors, industrials, want to build textile factory at Segulda, or in the region of Segulda, which is 1 hour from here. And people from Segulda say, no, 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 you won't not do that factory here. That's not ecological. We don't want this here. And other people say, yes, that's good for us. We'll create 200 employees and we'll have work. And I'll try, from time to time, to use the example to show you that in conflict we have sometimes many roots. Before, with all the presentations, I heard low, technique, culture, and psychology as 4 roots, what I call these roots. I'll propose to add some, so it will be 20 roots. There are rarely one if you observe the conflict. The roots appear at the origin, I said that, but they add themselves. We need to detect them, and we go further. Mediation may put light on them, and he asks questions, as you know. So 20 roots, 20 questions, maybe. Is that something in your conflict? It may also help him to classify the words he listened to. This is more economical, this is more with law, this is with culture. Where's the place of the origins of conflict? I observed also that each root, but I can't develop it now, to agree with you with the time, that each root has a specific type of agreement. I mean, I observed also agreements. Why people go to agreements? And we can observe that according to the root, there are typical ways to bring to agreement. But maybe this afternoon. So, I united this 20 with 9 words. And if you read like that, live tapes, laws, rules, languages, information, I'll develop each of them. Vicious circles of relations, energy discharge and emotions, techniques, territory, space, time, ancient conflict, so revenge in the new conflict, anticipation of conflict, actors which are not necessarily the good actors you have in mediation, person and identity, economy, ecology, ethics and cultures you developed, and symbolic, I'll explain, hidden other conflicts, and sometimes social mass phenomenon, mass media rumors that amplify the conflict. 20 root examples. Well, I go quickly, because you know that. You are from law, many of you. Law is the absence of laws, the interpretation, the opposition between 2 laws, and the opposition to the rule or the law. I don't agree with that law. Yes, the states gave authorization, for example, in Sigulda to build this, but we do not accept, even if the law says he has the right, because it will be chemical effects on us. The second is the languages. Of course, you mentioned it as in a culture, but I think even in Latvia, between Latvian, between Estonians, when we use a word, another person gives systematically, with another experience, another signification. Do you agree? It's clear? And the mediator has to translate from Latvian to Latvian. The body language, yes. But the same actions or the silence of one party may be interpreted differently. For example, they sent me a letter protesting against something, and I didn't reply. So the other one says, oh, he didn't reply. He's not well educated. So it's not acceptable. But perhaps he didn't reply because he was afraid of replying. We don't know inside the person what happens. So law, rules, language, informations. It's more important than we imagine. Received, selected, kept, transmitted. We can ask ourselves as mediators, do this person or this organization know what the other knows? For example, the people in Sigulda don't know exactly what is the project, what will be the effect, the chemical. They have fear. Huh? And the person who builds the project do not know himself if he has a house 200 meters from the factory, what will be the effects sometimes. vicious circles of relations. This is more psychological, but the problem is not in party A or in party B. Negative interactions. Attack, attack. For example, the lawyers know well this. One person says, oh, you attack on that. And the person who received the letter and says, oh, they attack us. Oh, you will attack them on that. And they enter into a attack-attack relationship. Am I clear? The risk is that the problem is no more in the object, the house or anything. The problem is in the relation. And you have to heal the relation. Because if not, it continues to be systematic opposition to the other. And that can solve the country. Of course, there are energy discharge. I'm very angry. Why did you do that? Oh, how do you speak to me? And he told me during the coffee pause that in our countries, France, Italy, perhaps yours, people shout. But in Sweden, Norway, when they are very angry, they speak like that, very slowly, and it's another way. But anyway, emotions is also an argument. I may cry, I'm very touched by that. And people has to understand about emotions. Perhaps our psychologists will speak about that. So there are also techniques. This house must be in wood. No, no, never in wood. I go quickly. There are problems of territory. Come back. Oh no, it goes the other way. Oh, it's finished. What shall I do, Mr. Gentleman? Roots, vicious person. Oh. Up. Energy and discharge. Techniques. It means I have to end in 2 minutes. So I just give the names. And you have the... So I say it orally. What was before? Tape. Technique, territory, and time. We disagree when you'll do the thing. Immediately, not, never. In 5 or 10 years. Ancient conflicts. Sometimes it's not the present conflict that is important. There are phenomena of revenge. 4 years ago, we had a conflict. We don't speak anymore about that, but it is still there in our French image. And now, I make a conflict, not for the present conflict. The most important is to revenge the past conflict. And the mediator has to see if there were other difficult relations in the past and heal that and say, can we solve the past? And so automatically, sometimes the present is solved. The personal identity, the insults, which is very strong. Economical aspect. And symbolic, meaning I do a conflict here, but I want to show things outside. And the judge also do the same. When there is a condemnation, when you open a conflict, for the people around to know that you cannot come late to a meeting, for example. And you begin to have a conflict with one person, but the object is not the person. It's all the others who see that there is a conflict when there is a delay. So the conclusion was the mediator has to be open to all the dimensions, ask all the questions, and don't think that there is only one cause for the conflict, opening 360 degrees and trying to find what's important for party A and party B. Thank you.